Very, very good wishes, sir, and very, very glad to host you in this absolutely wonderful conversation. We have had many conversations. I think this is the second of the recording, but the first thing which is going to go live. Such a pleasure to have you along, Brigadier Rajesh Bhaskar ji.
Thank you, Karthik. I've known you for so long, and we've had wonderful conversations on extremely esoteric topics. But it's always a pleasure to get in touch with you, talk to you, and I'm so glad that we're doing this now, finally.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, in fact, now I had the pleasure of having many senior leadership people in my workshops. They have participated. But if you remember in the year 2008, when you had participated in my workshop, which we had in that Leonia resort, I mean, I did not have any credentials of big names with that I have right now. I wanted to ask you what I never asked this to you ever. I mean, people not people. Nobody is going to believe this that you're asking this question after 16 years to someone. What triggered or what made you join that session, sir? Because I did not have any big credentials. What did you notice in me?
See, Karthik, if I recall, we had a lot of conversations before that, including that one in the Ayappa temple that we had. That's Ayappa temple that was in
Uh,
Secunderabad.
yes, very much.
Ah. So, I found our wavelengths to be matching, and I found your thought process to be wonderful. So I want to take it a little ahead, and that's why I came and joined you in that resort at Leonia, if I remember right.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. It really boosted me. And I must tell you, your observation skills and the way in which you questioned was, so brilliant. And it really deepened my perspective a lot. In fact, so I had learned a lot from you. I must tell you this. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. It's
And
our
Dr.
way of
Karan,
life. People keep saying, keep asking me, what do you follow? I follow nothing. I just try and uncover the truth by asking questions. If you stop asking questions, you stop being alive. That's how I look at it. So therefore, questioning is a wonderful way of living life.
absolutely. Sir, today's topic is about, what do you do when things don't happen the way, when nothing is happening in your way, whatever you're decided, nothing is going your way. How do you keep the ball going? How do you keep the motivation on? But before that, can you just, I know a lot about you, but can you give the people, with whom, this will be shared? Like, I wanted to just give you a little brief description or, give you a brief understanding of the profile of the people to whom, this video will be shared to certain directors who have been, founding directors of IIT,
Okay.
very close to my heart. Those people, I will share them with you later. Then it's going to go to certain people who are working in IIM. There's going to go to people, working in senior leadership in various multinational companies. Then to placement officers of, various reputed institutions like Triple IT and other places. So I just, if it's always good to hear from the horse's mouth. So if you can just let us know, how has been your journey in the Indian Army, uh, and I have known you, so closely. If you can just let us know in little brief, for the audience, how has been your journey with the Indian Army?
Been a fantastic journey, I must say, and no parallel and no questions about it. I'm from Bangalore. I had not seen anything apart from maybe a computer in 99 when I was working on it and books. And then to join the NDA, see a completely different spectrum of the world. My universe changed. And of course, thereon to the Indian Military Academy, being commissioned officer, having served in so many operations, so many live action areas, including Siachen, Dras, Kargil, you name it, and I've been all over. And it gives you a perspective of life which probably nothing else on earth can. And therefore, when you start questioning, like I told you earlier, that questioning deepens your thoughts into you yourself, number one, your close surroundings to your enhanced surroundings, and of course, the world at large. It's a completely different paradigm when you look at it, given the experiences I've had in the army, in the combat situations I've been in, and also interaction, a very close interaction with the people you command. And therefore, their problems become your problems. And therefore, you have a whole universe of problems in itself, which gives you a different dimension of how to go about life. That's how I look at it in a nutshell.
Brilliant, very, very awesome. So to pick up, from where, from your wonderful statements, you mentioned a very, very beautiful line that their problems will become your problems. That's such a very powerful quality of a leader. But today, if you happen to see in the corporate sector, or unlike the forces, or or be it in people who are working in organizations, or for that matter, even students, they often find themselves very, very isolated. Though they are there with people, and they don't have the right kind of guidance coming up to them. So many a times when things are not happening the way one is expecting, it often brings down the motivation levels of that individual person. So what are your suggestions that an individual person can do, or a group of people can do, when nothing is happening their way? Like, for example, to be a businessman. If as a businessman, if nothing is happening his way, if cash flow is not happening, if cash flow is not coming in, in nothing else can move in. If he finds himself in situations where he is not getting the required orders, he finds himself in situations where things are people are not functioning together, there are a lot of distractions around, there are a lot of commitments. So if nothing is moving in the direction where one is doing, like if he takes one step, 10 steps he goes back behind, how do find the motivation then?
When you told me about this topic, I think extremely important topic, and it has been relevant, I think, ever since human life began, and it will be relevant for a very, very long time now. And and it is something that all of us go through. And I keep mentioning that the great epics in India are not taught, everybody knows them. So let's refer to one, Ramayana. Let's look at life of Lord Ram. Okay. He was 14 years in exile in the forest. His wife got kidnapped. He had to raise an army, walk a long distance, wage a war to get her back, and he got her back. He got her back to his kingdom, and he had to exile her to follow his kingly duties. He never stayed with his children. That is a complete life of adversity. Despite that, he stood by the truth, by justice, always did what is right. And therefore, you worship as Lord Ram today. What can be more adverse than his life? None of us are ever going to face a situation in our lives which is as bad as what he had to face. And therefore, if Lord Ram can do it, any one of us can do a little small schism of what comes our way. And how to go about it? I think it's a very simple way of putting it is, firstly, shift focus from what is negative. Shift focus to what you can do. A lot of people saying, oh, this I cannot do. How will I ever do this? This is not what I've done before. I've never done this earlier. Every man does every time something which is never done earlier. And therefore, you must firstly shift focus from what is going wrong to what you can do right. Because what goes wrong is not what you are doing wrong, it goes wrong because of the circumstances surrounding it. But you can definitely do what you can do right. So that is firstly shift focus. Two, break it down into very, very small parts. Do one small part at a time. Three is to have self compassion. The whole world is gunning for you. If you don't have compassion for yourself, there's nobody left to have compassion for you. So these are the three things which will stand in great stead to this. We'll dig it in more detail as I go across. In the end, I have printed out a sheet. So it will be kind of a guru mantra for everybody watching this to follow it. It is something that I explain in army parlance, which I'm quite adept at.
No, very useful, sir. In fact, I think the three things that you shared are very, very crucial and very essential. In fact, what I love the most is, break it down into pieces. Because when you look at the problem as a whole, it just looks like a big mammoth. And when you actually break it down, it's very easy for a person to, look at the system. The first example that you gave is very big, very tough. Obviously, Lord Ram is a great inspiring figure, but as you use the prefix Lord, he's a Lord. So, for a common man, I wanted to know from your personal life, you have, unfortunately, if I may share it with the audience, you have been battling, something very tough in your life in terms of your health, and it's so amazing. That's a later, the last stages. One more conversation when we do, we will have it. But what a fabulous, when I look at you, it's such a great motivation. If you can just little touch on that, we will definitely talk in detail, in our fifth conversation. But what are those? Did you apply these three key elements, or were there certain things that you applied in your life where you found that motivation? And can we share, sir, like where you're working right now and all?
I will leave that out. I'm working at the highest echelons of what can be at the national strategic apex. So we'll leave it at that. I think people who know will know, and people who don't know this much. So we'll leave it like that.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Second, since you mentioned this, and I think when the illness hit me and I was told a large number of things about it, it took me, I think, about 24 hours. And then I decided it's better to live than to die every day. So I decided no matter what comes, I will live a normal life. I will do all that I have to do within the, you know, straight jacket of whatever I can or cannot do with the illness. And I decided that I will not focus on the illness, I'll focus on life. Because
Awesome. So you
that
shifted
is
the
how it
perspective.
was.
You shifted the
So
focus.
I shifted focus. That is one. And then I said, see, I used to run 30, 40 kilometers a day. And in span of 1 week, I got down to not able to walk 100 meters.
Yeah.
So I got down to small steps. I will do this much today. I'll walk from here to here. I'll sit down. I'll stand for so long. It is something that you have to get. You have to do baby steps. In 2003, I went through a series of issues in which I had a lot of, injuries, and I landed up where I could not write because of the nervous control.
Yeah, you told me,
I
yeah.
told you this. And I just recollecting it now because you asked me this.
Yeah,
And
true.
therefore, at the age of, what was I then? 2003, I was about 32. Yeah, 32 years old. I went and bought a 4-line notebook, which people use in LKG. I got a pen, I put a lot of rubber bands on it to make it thick so that my hands could hold them. And I started writing ABCD. It's as simple as that. So this first task was to write A on a book with 4 lines. I was 32 years old. Okay, this is what somebody 2.5 years old does probably. The 30-year gap between what I did and when I did it.
Correct, correct.
Do it, you know. And therefore, these are steps. In the end, you have to break it down to small steps
Very
and say,
nice.
this I have done. I couldn't have said then, I've written a book, and I have so many books now. I couldn't have said then, now I will write a book. I had to start with that A on the 4-line notebook. It's first small step that I took. And then, the whole world says you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you don't do this. It is your self-belief that tells you what you can do. And if you believe in yourself, you'll do it. It's as simple as that. And therefore, these are three basic core issues. I'll break them down as we talk and give you more details. But these three core issues will take you through whatever you go through in life.
Yeah, wonderful, sir. It's been like so beautiful. Like what I could perceive in the last 17 minutes. And since this conversation is for for 30 minutes, as you know, your time is extremely valuable. I I may when I'm just perceiving and digesting this conversation, what
Hmm.
I find is, sir, that if you have to shift this focus, probably the process that you might have applied largely would be the compelling reasons. Am I right?
Yes.
You have a strong, compelling reason, why you want to do whatever you want to do. Because most of the people lack this, the why is missing in their life. Because when a person does not have a strong why is he doing, what is he doing it for, naturally his whole focus and his neural pathways are built to feel bad, to feel demotivated. You have a very strong motivation because of your army background and your upbringing and the way in which you strategically think. But what for the people, who are very, who do not have any of these, they're not trained in the mind.
I
So
guess what you're saying, manner is okay because of my training, etc. But I think where I think you also fall into the larger populist thinking of, since I have no great thing to fall back on, no issue of compelling reason, why will I do something? Everybody has a compelling reason to live.
they have to discover it.
That is one. No, you life itself is a compelling reason. You get up in the morning, you're alive. You must be so thankful you're alive. You're breathing, you can see, hear, smell, talk, touch. It's an outstanding achievement. Imagine losing it for some time. That's a compelling reason to be there, to live, in fact. And therefore, and in the end, everybody, there's nobody on earth who at the end of the day says, I have achieved nirvana, I'm going to sit here and do nothing.
Yeah.
I haven't met somebody like that yet. I've met people who attained nirvana and they also have something to do. So therefore, everybody has something to do. The problem is he thinks of it as so large that he cannot address it. It is like standing in front of a gate. Okay, that gate has number two written on it. The two is so huge that you are about a small microcosm in front of that number two. You can't perceive that two because you're so small in front of the two. Similar is the problem. You can't perceive it because it is so huge. Break it down into a small part and say, today is what I have to do. Do it. You'll feel a sense of achievement. You will feel satisfaction. You'll have positivity. And then I'll give you an example. About when I was in Pune here about 10 years ago, I had a vast area to look after for intelligence, etc. So I wanted to automate the whole system. So I called a junior of mine. He was a computer guy. So I told him, look, with my background self, so I could tell him, I said, do this. I said, just collate data, make a software which collates data. It's not a major thing, so he did it. Then I told him, when he came back to me after 2 days, I said, okay, no, you've done this, do this also. He did this. I said, add this. He added that. So therefore he kept going at it for 6 months. In the end, he made a gargantuan software which connected half of India, which
Wow.
collected data from 21,000 different sources, which analyzed them real time, which gave an output in a desired manner in 8 different manners that is required in the army. And then he projected it in various places with secrecy, with encryption, etc., etc.
Mhm.
And then when he finished it, I told him, let's play this and I'll show you something. I worked it out for him, took half an hour. And then I told him, had you been told on day one, this is what you're going to do, would you have done it? He said, sir, I resigned. So it's the small steps. Somebody's broken up the small steps for him, so he's done it.
Correct.
We can
Somebody
break,
has done that. Yeah. Mentorship.
we can break the small steps ourselves, for ourselves. We don't need somebody else to do it for us. Today, he's a leading software team leader outside, all because of this one software that he's written. And he's thankful to the army and to me for it, which is just breaking it into small steps. Live example I'm giving you, and therefore, there is nothing that cannot be broken down into small steps. It is only our perception that I want to conquer Mount Everest without starting wearing a boot and getting out of a gate.
Very, very essential. The starting of the journey is to implement things. Very
Action.
essential.
No. The first thing is action. It's very important to stop planning and start doing action. I told you about this trip I went to Morgaon Ganpati. I'd never been to that temple
Yeah,
before
you
in my
told me
life.
you're remembering me. Yeah,
61 kilometers from here. And it just came to me that I have to go to the temple. I don't know why. And I told my wife, she said, let's go. I said, no, no, I want to walk. I have to walk to that place. And she's like, crazy guy, 61 kilometers. So I got up one morning. It was early. I got ready, wore my shoes, went out of the gate. That first step that I took out of the gate ensured that I go to the temple.
yeah. Day
If I
before
had not
yesterday, you
taken
mentioning
that
about the
first
same
step,
things, huh?
sorry?
The day before yesterday, when we were speaking, you were
Yeah, I'm
telling me
just
the same
telling you,
things.
I told you all of a sudden when you called up, I told you just went and came back.
Yeah, yeah.
It's something that if you're not taking that first step out of the gate, you'll never go to that temple.
Correct. And when you were doing such a nice pilgrimage, you remembered me. I'm very thankful.
I always remember you on fantastic times,
Yeah,
just
I
like you
don't. I
remember
do.
me every time you go to Lord Balaji.
I do,
I
sir.
think
I
it's
do
mutual.
always. You have my wishes all the time. It is, this conversation I feel is very little. We must have these conversations even more. To conclude, sir, what I feel is a great key takeaway for anyone who is listening this is one, break the problem into pieces, which is very essential. Two, shift the perspective, which is extremely vital. And I feel the third most essential element is about the right mentorship. You need to have the right people by your side when things are not moving, or you need to build that mental muscle so that your brain develops that neural pathway and gives you the happy chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin,
Correct.
to keep you going.
No, support system, I'll take 2 minutes if you will allow me.
Sure,
A
sure.
support system is very, very essential. I told you this before, I'll tell it again. If you learn playing golf with Tiger Woods, you'll play like him. If you learn it from me, you'll play like me. It's as simple as that. So, company matters. And therefore, you must choose a company which keeps you motivated. Friends, family, talk to them. By talking, half your problem is as it is gone. By penting up your own problem, not revealing them to others, you are doubling your problems.
So, with all due respects, friends and family are immature people for most of the
No, you
people.
can choose. You
Yeah,
can
so
choose
it's
amongst
always
friends and
essential.
family.
It's
Not
always
everybody is
essential to
required to be there.
choose. I mean,
Matter of choice.
lot of demotivation is coming to them from friends and families only, sir, which I'm seeing. And you might have, and
One, you only need one. You don't need everybody else. And the
true, true,
question of one is gets me to the next point.
and that's
You
very
know,
essential.
yeah, you have to be right only once. So don't get bogged down by rejection and dejection. Take a granite stone, you take a hammer and start hammering it. It won't break. You keep hammering it. On the 100th strike, it will break. Okay. The 99 were not failure. They contributed as much for the 100th strike for the stone to break.
Yeah.
And therefore, don't look at it as failure. Look at it as a stepping stone to where you're going to go. You know, I can give you examples if you have a minute. Jack Canfield, he wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul,
Yes, yes.
$1 billion brand. Okay. You know how many times that book was rejected before he first published? 144 times got rejected. Imagine going to publisher to publisher to publisher 144 times and being turned away. It's a $1 billion brand book today. Okay, so therefore you have to be right once. You can get rejected forever. Okay. Similarly,
He believed in his story.
yeah, belief. I told you, self belief is what is required.
Very essential.
In terms of self belief, this is what Canfield said. I believe more in my ability to do things, I'm paraphrasing, than in your ability to doubt my, way of doing things.
Very, very vital. Very vital.
He said, okay.
Yeah.
And then there are a lot of people who say you have to be right once. You can be wrong 100 times. It doesn't matter. That one time when you're right is all that matters. Okay. And let's take this example of KFC. I'm sure all of us have seen KFC. 1,000 outlets in India, about 38,000 outlets all worldwide. How many times were rejected at age 65? He started his first outlet. He was rejected 1,000 times before he opened his first KFC outlet. Okay, see the success it is today. So he has to be right once. Okay, there was a 15-year-old guy, Jack. I'm forgetting his surname. Sorry. He wanted to do a test for pancreatic cancer. He was rejected 199 times. John Hopkins was the 200th lab he approached, and they said okay. He developed it 26,000 times cheaper than the test of that day was the test. It was about 100 times faster. It is 25 rupees the test cost today. 199 times rejected. Therefore, your perseverance is for that one time. Okay, in army parlance, we go out for patrolling in a terrorist infested area every day, day in, day out. And you're looking for that 5 second or a fraction of a second to 5 second, depending where you're in the environment when the bullet is out. We're looking for a terrorist. But imagine doing it relentlessly for a year after year, waiting for that fraction of a second when you hear the fraction of bullet. That is perseverance and motivation. And it is just a matter of making a drill and doing it.
Really, yeah,
So,
practice. Yeah, that's one more key takeaway I feel is a practice.
yeah.
Sir, it was a pleasure, sir. I know this conversation could just go on. It was just like a minute. And as always, we speak for hours together. Sometime we will have a more lengthier conversation.
Okay. You have 1 minute more in your 30-minute session?
No, 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 absolutely, sir. Why not, sir? We
Okay.
can.
So I made something, in the army, we have something called contingency plan.
Okay.
We plan or make a plan, and then we say, if this fails, what? That's contingency A. If this fails, what? Then we make a lot of contingency plans, and therefore, there's no time to plan in war. So therefore, you make plans in advance. So therefore, you are prepared for most things that come your way. So I've made something called contingency plan B
Okay.
for this session.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I've got a printout. I'll just try and put it on the. I don't know how to take this out. Okay. Can I turn this around?
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
I turn
sure.
this?
Yeah, yeah, why not, sir?
How do I turn it? I have no idea.
I mean,
1 second. Wait. There are some. Okay,
oh,
I'll hold it here. It's better that way.
or you can just put it like that. Yeah.
Can you see
Yes,
this?
yes, yes, I can see that.
Okay.
It's compassion,
So that's
outside support.
contingency plan B. What I've all said is coming here. You can take a screenshot of it. I don't know if it'll work out that way.
No, it's very much visible, sir. Negative thoughts. Yeah, yeah, I
Therefore, I'll
can see
just tell
that.
you, So contingency plan B stands, let me read it out, as compassion, outside support. You need support, like we discussed. Take away negative thoughts, develop new interests, have a goal, small goals, achieve them, examine your goals, examine the process you're following and why you're getting results. You keep doing the same thing and expect different results, it will not happen. You have to do
Correct.
different things for different results. Don't accept a no. Keep at it, you'll get it. That one, don't fear rejection. Take care of yourself. Perspective, change of perspective, shift focus. Leave it aside for 30 minutes and do meditation. It always works. Just forget it and a solution will come your way. Take action. I believe in that Nike philosophy of just do it. Take action. And when to take action is now. Now is the time to act, not some futuristic time frame.
Golden,
And
sir.
believe in yourself. So
It's really
that's
golden.
contingency plan B. If you remember contingency plan B, you will go through life
No, no, this
with no
contingency
problem.
plan is very good, sir. Actually, what I loved more is you said that, people should measure because anything that cannot be measured cannot be improved. Very essential. And also do it now is quite very, very, one of the most essential thing. So I'm sure, there's a lot of good key takeaways from this wonderful, brilliant thoughts that you have shared. And we'll have more conversations like this.
Absolutely. Look forward to that and love doing it with you.
Good wishes, sir. Have a very, very wonderful time, and I will share this link with you.
Thank you,
Lots of
Karthik. Thank you
love.
so much. Lovely talking with you. Look forward to doing it again.
Have a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you. Same to you.